Imagine a night so long that stars feel permanent. Research Station Delta squats on 200 meters of blue ice, a modular web of containers bolted together like a frozen puzzle. The crew knows blizzards. They rehearse whiteout drills every month, yet no drill covers what is about to happen. A single carbon brush inside a backup generator wears thin. Sparks spit onto fumes above a fuel manifold. 15,000 liters of jet catch like dry straw. In less than 5 seconds, a sheet of fire rises taller than any building on the base. Outside, the polar wind cuts at 100 kilometers an hour. Inside, alarm strobes flash, crimson and sirens scream. At -40 Celsius, metal contracts, bolts pop, and glass itches to shatter. The only radio tower softens, then warps in the heat, so messages become snarls of static. Rescue aircraft cannot fly through the incoming storm wall. Their flight computers reject the takeoff request before pilots even finish the checklist. Oxygen scrubbers, small boxes hidden in the ceiling, tick down to 40 minutes. The crew gathers in the control module, 20 meters of cramped consoles, afraid to speak because each word tastes like burning wire. One man is absent from the muster, Maksim Petrov, the silent fuel technician who moves the way snow drifts, slowly but always forward. He carries a battered leather logbook, circles each reading with a red fountain pen, and seals the page with a thumbprint. His colleagues call him the ghost of Shift C, equal parts joke and respect on how he stands alone in a corridor, visor fogging, nose stinging. The air feels too warm, almost metallic. Unseen pressure slams valve as steel fractures into glitter. A jet of fuel arcs into freezing air, blooms orange like a sunrise in reverse. Petrov hears 3 distinct sounds, the pump whine becoming a scream, the intake of oxygen like an invisible tide, and the wet crack as a drum deforms. He counts aloud. 2, 3. If the blaze touches barrel 5B, everything ahead will vaporize. Behind it lies the only exit tunnel. Decision time is a match flame long. Chief Scientist Anna Lundström leans over a seismograph just as her monitors wash red. Fuel bay, thermal spike, the station AI announces, then the lights go dark. A dull battery speaker chants, "Fire, fire, fire, fire." The voice is calm, distant, almost cruel in its composure. Floor plates quiver under expanding air. Temperature inside plummets because control fans quit. Outside, the storm hurls needles of ice that drum on every bulkhead. Radios hum like angry bees but transmit nothing clear. The crew has 40 minutes of breathable air before carbon dioxide. Stages a silent coup. This is the wager, 40 minutes of oxygen. -40 outside, 1200 degrees at the heart of the flame. Petrov moves, wordless. He slams 2 magnetic isolation doors, starving the fire of its easiest oxygen path. The pressure gauge still climbs. He sprints down a cross hall to cold store B where CO cylinders stand like upright torpedoes in frosted cradles. Breath smokes around his headlamp beam. Long ago, in Vladivostok, Petrov stood in a hangar and watched a colonel demonstrate a theory. Cold plus foam equals absolute flame suppression. The colonel claimed ice crystals steal heat faster than water. Film alone. Funding vanished. The project was shelved, but Petrov memorized the ratio, 40% AFFF foam and 60% cryogenic slush. He loads 4 cylinders onto a sled, secures them with nylon straps that creak. Detergent drums clatter beside them. Twice he slips, once slicing a glove open. Blood beads into ruby pellets that freeze before gravity finishes its pull. Engineer Carlos Reyes rips a thermal blanket from a storage locker, his hands shaking from adrenaline more than cold. Anna Lundström counts heads. 17 present, 1 missing. Heart climbing her throat, she whispers Pet. Static erupts overhead, and a calm voice says, "Foam line prototype in 5 minutes. The port interior bring 2 volunteers." The channel drops. Reyes laughs once, high and brittle. They suit up. Crossing the access tunnel feels like moving through an artillery barrage. Metal booms under heat stress. Shards of ice break from ceiling bolts and rattle on helmets. Lundström ticks off meters like heartbeats. 30 and 100 back. At the north shutter, Petrov crouches by a contraption, a foam cannon nozzle welded to a flexible hose, wrapped with heat tape. Cannibalist from a hydroponic farm. Co-cylinders hiss pale clouds at his boots. Frost gives the scene a dreamlike glare. Reyes asks, "This is going to freeze, right?" Maybe. Petrov answers, turning a wrench. Prototype 1. Cylinder valve open. Sapphire slurry bursts forward, arcs into orange. After 3 seconds, the hose squeals. Ice crystals bloom, metal contracts, and the nozzle flies off like a kick. Hammer dry ice spews across the deck, rolling like spectral fog. Reyes chops the valve shut. His glove chars where super cold meets heat tape. Lundström calls for retreat. Petrov kneels beside the split hose, traces a finger along the fracture, then fishes out his red pen. On the steel deck, he sketches a spiral preheater concept, copper tube around the mixing chamber, using exhaust warmth to keep slush mobile, without igniting fumes. He says, "Need copper, 2 clamps, solder, iron." Reyes calculates, 10 minutes. Petrov, 8. Oxygen clock bleeds seconds like dripping tap water. They scavenge copper tubing from a disused desalination pump. Reyes solders with shaking hands. Lundstrom measures internal temperature with a handheld thermocouple. Target is -10. 9 degrees warmer will boil water into steam and rupture the line. 9 colder will freeze, slush solid. Snowflakes swirl into the bay, flashing in the firelight. Underneath their protective hoods, sweat, chills, and nerves sing taut. Prototype 2. Valves hiss open. The hose vibrates like a living muscle but stays flexible. A stripe of blue jets into orange. The flame snarls, folds inward, then dims to red. Before armor gray crystals swallow its glow, condensed water cracks as it freezes. A sound like an avalanche rumbles through the depot as thermal gradients collapse. Barrel 5B pings once. Steel shrinking faster than heated fuel expands. Instead of exploding, it entombs itself in faceted ice clear as quartz. Each breath seems to echo off glass. 90 seconds stretch long enough for doubt to sprout, then shrivel under new-formed cold. Reyes taps the ice, skin sticking momentarily. His shout of pain turns into laughter, raw and shaken. Lundstrom's headlamp beam catches swirling steam that freezes mid-air, snowing within the chamber. They reverse course down the tunnel, foam cannon still venting a cool mist trail. On her final glance back, Lundstrom sees a sanctuary of ice stalactites and stalagmites, shimmering like a cathedral birthed by winter itself. Beauty and horror coexist in the same frame. Power flickers to life in sections. Red indicator floods. Console's Petrov pushes a reset sequence on the main breaker. Data servers hum. It will be weeks before the depot is cleared, but the station stands. 18 people live face to face with him. Lundstrom extends a gloved hand. You saved us all. Petrov's eyes remain on the temperature gauge. Not yet hidden embers may reignite. His voice sounds rusted, unused, but absolutely certain. They schedule rotating patrols. Hours later, secondary scans show surface hotspots under 3 centimeters of ice. Those pockets are vented with portable drills and a final dusting of cryofoam. Only after every reading holds steady for 60 minutes does Petrov write one final red circle in his logbook and plant a thumbprint beside it. 10 days pass before a true sunrise glimmers on the horizon. The sky grades from violet to pastel gold. A drone rises on an autonomous route, lenses trembling in wind still fierce. From above, the fuel depot looks like a cracked crystal dome, half collapsed like a snow globe dropped by a careless child. International news agencies pick up the footage. The headline writes itself. Ice foam saves Polar Lab. City editors love the contrast of fire and ice, savior and silence. Petrov's name trends for 48 hours, then slips beneath political noise, but in safety forums the debate only begins. Airports ask for schematics. Chemical manufacturers volunteer to test new formulations. The United Nations Safety Panel offers Petrov a medallion. He declines. Officially, he lost his passport. Unofficially, he prefers machine rooms. 2 podiums. Reporters dig for dirt. They find a 12-year-old personnel file, partly redacted, describing how Petrov grounded an IH fleet after detecting microcracks in rotor couplings. He was dismissed for excessive caution. 3 months later, one of those helicopters fell out of a fog bank and 14 service members died. Petrov attended no funeral. He was already loading cargo on night shifts at a petroleum refinery, trying to forget the price of ignored warnings. Station Delta posts a meticulous article detailing rapid cryofoam deployment. Fire academies discuss the process in online seminars. Within 12 months, 2 regional airports retrofit fuel pits with CO slush feed lines. Passengers disembark, walk past emergency vehicles, and never realize a silent Arctic technician altered the protocols that guard their lives quiet. Warriors rarely fit the cinematic image we expect. Some mop floors, some monitor gauges, some like Petrov watch valves through old goggles and save entire communities by acting without permission. Action, not applause, measures heroism. Petrov acted. The station stands. 18 people continue to breathe cold, clean air. Wind whistles through glass arches that were once a firestorm. Ice gleams. The cold overcame the blaze, and a silent man wrote a new rule for survival.